second-time visitors, so if either of those descriptions happen to match you, would you please raise your hand now so we can acknowledge you? Okay, we got a few over here in the center. Would you like to introduce yourselves? If so, we will bring a mic to you, just so the people on Zoom can hear you, if you would introduce.
I'm Kathy McQuaid. I was born and raised in Beaufort and then moved away for several decades, and I am back now.
Okay, welcome.
Oh, sorry.
Right here in the center.
I am Jason Greco. You might know my brother Adam. Maybe. Have you met Adam? Very shy. And my mom Helene. And I'm visiting from Raleigh, leaving today, but happy to be here.
We welcome you. Anyone else? Or was that? All right, in that case, you can pass the mic over to our tech team so we can see who is joining us on Zoom today.
This morning we have John Brobst, Dan Phillips, Michelle Crepo, Gary Willis, and Kay and Daryl Lynch, and Sandra England.
Okay, wave to our friends over in Zoom. Always great to have viewers from all over. Thank you. We do have some announcements this morning. To start, I have been informed right before service that we have a Social Justice Committee meeting happening across the way in the Sally B. White Center, just across the way, so that'll be happening right after service today. We are still trying to make sure that we're getting people on the Breeze apps because events are happening that we want to make sure that everyone's just aware of. If we want to find stuff that's happening in the social hall, just look for events marked for in-person gatherings on the app. Great opportunities to connect and reflect with other people. If you don't have an account yet, go find Barb Thomas. She will be able to help you get things set up. Alrighty. And now we will center ourselves here in this sacred space and let music deepen our way.
Our Real Work by Wendell Berry. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come, and that when we no longer know which way to go, we have come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings. And now let us speak the words as one. Come, let us worship together. Would a child like to light the chalice? All right, come on, Parker. Playing with fire, yay! Yeah, we must have fire. Okay. All right. Watching the news invites a tangle of emotions, wonder and grief and anger. And under it all, a current of commitment toward continuing to work and pray for justice, that we can transform or replace the systems that perpetuate violence and racism and all forms of oppression. We have a long way to go. Today in worship, we ponder the many paths we commit to in life and why we keep going even though it's hard, even when it might be easier to stop, to give up, to not rock that boat. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, hang on one sec. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The mind adapts and converts its own purposes, the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." As we light our chalice, let us wonder, what drives us to continue our journey? Un momento, por favor. With faith and courage, even when the challenges are great, might we come to see our challenges not as obstacles in our paths, but as the path itself. And now, we also light our peace candle to remind ourselves that peace is a process that requires work, and that peace is not merely an absence of conflict, but it's with the presence of justice. Now please rise and embody our spirit as we sing hymn 1015, 1015, I Know I Can.
Though days be dark with storms and burdens weigh my heart,
Each week, we make some space and time to be human and celebrate our joys and grieve our sorrows together. Should you wish to share a personal joy or sorrow about a person or persons in your life, there is a paper over on this table in the far corner that you can fill out and place in the basket on that table on your way to the chalice. After our ritual, I will attempt to read these personal joys and concerns to the congregation. Fair warning, might take a little bit because handwriting is hard for me to get a handle on, but that's just the way things are. We will form two lines, one across the wall this way and one down this aisle on this side. When you come forward, you will select one of the stones or shells that you have received from the baskets sitting in front of the chalice, and you will gently place these stones representing your joys or concerns into the water. And now we welcome your joys and concerns with our stones and water ritual. Please put a stone in for me as we hold concern for communities facing renewed outbreaks of preventable illnesses like measles, and for the systems of care that are keeping all of us safe. We also add another stone as we hold concern for those navigating financial strain and for the dignity and security every person deserves. We also add a stone to celebrate the ways people continue to show up for one another, the resilience we see in our communities, and the quiet signs of renewal all around us. I wish to add a few more stones for some extra additions that I wanted to bring attention to. Obviously, there is the continued conflicts going on in the Middle East. We still hold Palestine in our thoughts and prayers. Yes? Oh. Sorry. Yeah, I have them right here. I just wanted to add a few more for myself. Also, Lebanon, I want to bring attention to. I have just checked Google Maps this morning, and Lebanon has mostly been erased. So I wanted to bring attention to that, and obviously, and one last personal one for me before I read the ones from the community. Just last week, the father of my Uncle Rob has unfortunately passed away due to a stroke that he had in his sleep. My family is still struggling with that. I wish I had known the man. I never got the chance to meet him before he passed, but I've heard nothing but great stories about that. On to joys and concerns from the community. I have one for Sarah England is recovering from a heart attack, so we continue to keep her in our thoughts and prayers as she continues to recover. A big concern about the North Carolina Supreme Court having just demolished the funding for North Carolina schools. So we need to continue to hope that that will be adjusted and fixed. Just to send love and prayers to Sarah England. Another person has suggested that. Thank you to everyone for a test that seems to have passed. And that is all. Oh. And there's also a note here for Berkeley's cool mohawk. So I wanted to bring attention to that as well. Alrighty. It is very cute. It is very cute. All right. By the light of this chalice, let us together take this moment to hold in our hearts all of these joys and concerns, whether they are spoken or unspoken. May the caring of our community offer to everyone both kindness and hope. May you know love. May you know peace. May you be safe. And now, we receive a choral offering. And please enjoy What a Wonderful World by George David Weiss and Bob Thiel, made famous by Louis Armstrong.
Wow, that was amazing. All right. All right. How am I going to follow that? All right. It is time for all ages. So, kids, if you want, you can come up here and gather around, hear a story, or not. It's cool. It's cool. All right. Just a brief note before we begin. This story includes themes of overeating and food excess, which may be difficult for some listeners. So, today, we are celebrating the theme of possibility and honoring the upcoming Earth Day this Wednesday. It's a special time to think about not only the possibility of healing the earth, but also to look at how we've also hurt it. To help us with that, I'd like to share a Nigerian folktale called Why the Sky is Far Away. In the beginning, the sky was close to the earth, so close you could reach up and touch it. You could eat it, too. In those days, people would always have enough to eat without ever having to work for it. Men and women did not have to plow the fields, sow the seeds, and gather the crops. Children did not have to fetch for sticks for the fire. Whenever anybody was hungry, they just reached up, boop, and tore off a piece of the sky. But people grew careless with the sky's gifts. They broke off more than they needed. After all, the sky was so big, and they thought that there would always be enough for everybody. Who cares about a little wasted sky? But the sky cared. What do you think? The sky probably cared. Soon the sky's sorrow turned to resentment. And then the resentment grew to anger. I offer myself every day to these people. The sky brooded, and they throw me away, half-eaten, like garbage. People of Earth, the sky's eyes flashed lightning. Clouds bubbled and boiled. You have not treated me with respect. You have wasted my gifts. I warn you, if you are greedy, I will leave. I will move far away. The people listened, and then they promised to be more careful. After that, no one broke off more than they can eat. And they always remembered to thank the sky. But then the time came for the greatest festival of the year, in honor of the chief of the kingdom. The night rang with music. Bells clanged. Boom. Drums banged. People stamped and clapped, yay, and laughed. and the tables were heaped with dishes of specially prepared sky. Sky in every flavor, from custard apple to cocoa plum. There was plenty for everyone, for the sky was generous. It trusted the people to take only what they needed. But there was one woman who was never satisfied. Osato always wanted more. Her arms were heavy with brass bracelets, but brass wasn't good enough for her. She wanted coral beads, and most of all, she loved to eat. First, she helped herself to a handful of noon yellow sky that tasted like pineapple. Chunk after chunk disappeared into her mouth, and then she ladled out some sky stew, spicy and warm. She lifted the dish to her lips, draining it, dumplings and all. Woo! Soon her stomach was stuffed. She loosened her robe. What's next? Delicate slices of morning sky, pink and glistening with a swift movement. She scooped them up and slurped them down all at once. At least the tables were empty, and Osato was full. She waddled home. She was full to bursting, but her eyes kept wandering up to the sky. What would it taste like right now? Citrus storms. Her taste buds tingled. Luscious mango. Her mouth watered. Honey sunsets. She licked her lips. Her fingers began to pull out her spoon, the one she kept tucked in her headscarf. Just in case. She stopped herself just in time. Osato knew that the sky offered itself only because no one ever took more than they needed. She knew she didn't need any more, but oh, how she wanted some! Just one more spoonful. Please. The sky is so huge, Osato said to herself. It can't hurt just to have a little bit more. She pulled out her spoon and plunged it in. She savored a mouthful of sky. And another. She threw down her spoon and scooped with her hands, sucking the delicious sky from her fingertips. Finally, without another thought, Osato pulled down a great slab of sky, enough to feed a family for weeks. She licked all around the edges, chewing more slowly now. She stared up at the huge hole above her. She stared down at the enormous mound of sky. Oops. She knew she had taken more than even she could eat. Above her head, there were rumblings. Oh, what have I done? Oh, I cannot waste the sky. What should I do? She called her husband to help, but he had been feasting too, and was slumped in his chair, too full to even move. Ugh. Still, he managed a few mouthfuls. She called to her children to help, but they were too full from the wonderful feast. Still, they forced down a few fingerfuls. She called to her neighbors to help, but they had been at the festival too, and at the sight of more food, they held their stomachs and groaned. But even the help of the entire village, they could not eat that last piece of sky. Osato had taken too much. What does it matter, Osato told herself at last. It's just a bit of waste. But the feeling in the pit of her stomach told her otherwise. No one slept well that night. The next morning, the sky did not offer his food to the people. Parents had nothing for breakfast. Children cried, hungry. Osato knelt on the ground, rocking and sobbing. I'm so sorry. But the sky just sighed. With the great rush of air, it lifted itself up, high as the treetops, high as the mountaintops. High above the earth rose the sky, far beyond the reach of humans. I gave you all you needed, its voice floated down to Osato, but you still took more. I cannot stand such greed. I must leave, and I will not return. But how will we live? Wept Osato. What will we eat? And there was silence. Osato's tears fell to the earth, and the earth spoke. Dry your tears, it said gently. I can feed you, but you will have to work for your living. You will have to learn to plow fields, sow seeds, and harvest crops. And remember what you have learned today. Take only what you need, and I will give it gladly. Oh, I will, through your tears. I'll never take more than I need, ever, ever again. The end. Now, why do you think the sky left? Why? Yeah. What does taking more than you need look like in real life? Sure, yeah. Greed. Anyone else?
Eliminating the EPA.
There you go. Wait, what? EPA? Aren't they supposed to help us? The environment? Oh, okay. All right. All right. Now, at the end, the earth says it will provide, but only if people work and take what they need. What do you think that means?
You have to work to get what you want.
Sure, yeah. Nothing is free in life, right? Is this the lesson? I don't know. I don't even know the lesson here, guys. I don't know. Just don't take more than you need, right? All right. All right. Don't be greedy. All right. All right. Each month during our multi-generational service, we collect shelf-stable food for our neighbors experiencing food insecurity. We invite children forward to collect your offerings for Friends Feeding Friends. Do you play there? Oh. That's some fat loot right there, bro. And now we send our younger ones and their teachers to religious education with the blessing song. Oh, something, okay. Oh, did you want to do this?
I will now lead us into a moment of silent meditation with a brief reading. Spirit of life, ever adapting and renewing, we come together this morning with yearnings that do not match. We yearn for stability, for even one moment of feeling like we know what is going on, for the ability to predict and prepare for what is coming next. Yet we also yearn for change. We ache for a world that turns aside from racism, violence, dehumanization, and disregard for suffering. We pray for a change in the illness, grief, isolation, incarceration, and vulnerability of our loved ones. We reach for connections that will remind us that we are worthy as we are, and we reach for the connections that will help us to become our best selves. Hold us in the heart of both and cradle us in the mystery. Cherish us in the eternal presence of love and encourage us on the path of growth and development. As individuals and as a people, help us to become who we are called to be. Lead us to open pathways to deeper wisdom through reconciliation, self-respect, and mutual respect, compassion, owning, and making amends for our mistakes. Source of wonder, move us to express and live in gratitude for the beauty of this world, the loving people in our lives, and this day of possibility. To this, we add the meditations of our hearts as we enter into this time of silence. When the service started, you may remember that little joke I made where I technically stumbled into being your worship leader today. That's not entirely true. A few weeks ago, I had received an email from Reverend Leslie about being in charge of service today, and she had sent me the information on what topic we wanted to discuss today, and when I looked at the topic, it ended up being ironically really in line with what I was already doing before I had saw that email. That morning, I had already had a long shift at work, and I had just come home, and I had started playing a bunch of video games, because that's just the kind of person I am. The specific game I had played was a title called Reverse 1999, and it is a turn-based action game about a world where Y2K actually was the end of the world, but it was not in the fire and brimstone manner. It was that time literally started to reverse, as the name implies. I love this game a great deal, but I can see on your faces, okay, that's cool. Why are you telling us this? The reason I bring this game up is that while I love a lot of the characters and the gameplay and the art is gorgeous, and as a history nerd, I love seeing their twist on actual historical events and characters and stuff, the theme of that game is what really stuck with me and what keeps me playing it. And it was so funny that that was the game I was playing with that theme fresh in my mind when Leslie sent me that email. They link up surprisingly well. because today's theme is all about possibility, moving forward. And in this game, the one question that constantly comes up, regardless of the character, everyone always mentions the question, how do we progress forward if time itself is literally fighting against us? That connection was too good to pass up. And when I read today's reading that I'm about to give to you all, even in the first sentence, the connection was right there, and I knew I had to at least bring it up. And with that said, this morning's message comes to us from Reverend Anna Tulu, titled, "To Get to the Other Side." Why do we keep going? Especially when the odds are stacked against us, when the road ahead is fraught with challenge and struggle. Why? When it's so hard, why do we choose to continue down this path? I've been asked this question many times, and I'd be lying if I said I hadn't asked it myself as well. I'm not sure I have a worthy answer, but it is certainly a worthy question, whether we are pondering our respective or collective journeys. Why are we doing this? There's this trail in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia called Roaring Run. It's an ideal hike, especially with young kids. It's not too long, and though there are some very steep sections, the trail is well maintained, with tall flights of steps guiding you upward. Aptly named, the path runs alongside a stream and waterfalls. The sound of roaring water thrills and fills the senses. There are picnic areas, the ruins of an old furnace where you can still pick out bits of colorful slag from the pathway. In many ways, it's ideal, unless you can't walk. I'd hiked this trail multiple times with my older two kids, always a fun outing, but ever since Ozza, my youngest, outgrew my ability to wear him while hiking, which was about 20 plus pounds ago, we'd had to leave him at home with a caregiver while we went hiking. And it bugged me, because if there's anything that Ozza loves, it's being outside and anything to do with water. Whenever I hiked Roaring Run, I couldn't help thinking how much Ozza would love to be there. So one day, I decided that what I needed to do more than anything else was to take Ozza up Roaring Run. Ozza, who at the time was not yet walking, not even with assistance, Ozza, who weighed 40 pounds, I asked his attendant at the time, Sam, if she was game to help me with my scheme, and she, bless her, said of course. After all, I said optimistically, it's not a very long trail, and it is well maintained. The next day, we packed up the kids, all three of them, and hit the road, with a picnic lunch as a reward for after our excursion. The trail started off easily enough, the bigger boys darting off ahead while Sam and I took turns pushing Ozza in his jogging stroller, occasionally pausing to help each other lift the stroller over particularly gnarly roots or pokey, outy rocks in the path. The further along we got, the more quizzical the looks we received from other hikers on the trail. At one point, a woman actually stopped and asked me point blank, looking highly concerned, "Have you been here before? You know the trail gets harder, right?" Admittedly, Sam and I were already sweating pretty well, and sure, I knew there were some challenges ahead. Thank you very much. But what no one seemed to understand was that I needed to take Ozza up this trail, not just part way to see some of the creek and then head back. I needed to take him all the way to the top. This was not a whim. It was not a passing fancy. I had been seized by an urgent compulsion to see him all the way. And the look I saw on so many faces that day, why? Really quick, drawing on everyone's shared knowledge of possibly the most well-known joke ever, why did the chicken cross the road? It's one of the first jokes we learn as children, part of its humor being in the simplicity of the punchline. Our brains may scour and search for a better reason, but there it is, so simple, to get to the other side. We hear this echoed in a number of children's songs as well. Feel free to fill in the blank again. The bear went over the mountain. Or how about a sailor went to sea, to see what she could see. Does anyone know that one? Yes, in each of these, again, a question or a quest answered with the most obvious, the most simple response. Although I couldn't adequately put into words why I must haul my child all the way up this trail, still I felt the answer should be equally obvious. So he could be there. So he could see it. So I could witness him being there and seeing it. It was about the time that we had reached the big stairs that I started to worry that Sam might not ever talk to me again. Psychologist Abraham Maslow wrote, "In any given moment, we have two options, to step forward into growth or to step back into safety." After checking in with each other, Sam and I opted to continue our mission. Some bewildered but good-humored strangers lent their assistance in hauling Ozza in his litter jogging stroller creakily up the steps, several very steep flights of them. Sam and I were pretty well panting and gasping for breath by this point, and still the end was not in sight. My older two boys continued to run ahead and then back, wondering loudly why Sam and I were taking so long. The combined weight of Ozza and the stroller equals about 65 plus pounds, seemed only to grow heavier with every step, as we had to carry it pretty much the whole time at this point due to all the boulders and brush, setting it down every few steps to shake out our hands and gauge our next few steps. Eventually, though, we made it to the top. We were dripping with sweat, barely able to speak from the exertion, and I was literally seeing spots. Sam offered up a communion of off-brand nacho cheese tortilla chips, which helped him incrementally. We stood there at the top, trying to catch our breath and take it all in. Kids squealed and clambered over the rocks around us, and Ozza just gazed calmly upon the waterfall, the dappled light, the forest, the people, listening to the roar of the water down the mountainside, the only sound occasionally rising above the din of the falls, the counterpoint of children's laughter. He didn't say a word. He was just there, fully there, seeing all he could see. He gazed at the water, at the trees. I gazed at him. After, but to go back. We did take the easier path back, through the forest and away from the rushing water. It was then, finally, as we plodded and creaked into the relative quiet of the woods, that Ozza finally spoke. "Thank you, water," he said, and my heart just about burst. Why? Why, indeed. Here's another thing I know. I was able to take my kiddo up the mountain to see a beautiful waterfall, yes, because I was committed to it, but also because I had help. I had a good friend and caregiver to my son who was willing enough to lend her strength to the task. And yes, Sam and I are still on speaking terms. We met strangers on the trail, some who offered well-intentioned warnings, others who offered practical assistance. Each of us on that trail took our own journey that day. My journey was different than Ozza's, and his was different from Sam's, or from the others on the trail, but still, we made it together. As disparate as each of our experiences may be, they are still bound inextricably in a common web of interbeing. Practicing our faith as Unitarian Universalists, in putting our values into practice, means allowing ourselves again and again to enter willingly into vulnerable situations, sometimes uncomfortable or even frightening, in our pursuit of justice, equity, compassion. At our best, we take on challenges and actions that others might describe out of fear as unsafe or inadvisable. And we make mistakes, a lot of them, yes. We do stumble, so we can help each other as best we can. And we accept help, hopefully, as well. And so we keep going because we are committed to this journey. Maslow wrote, "We fear our highest possibilities. We are generally afraid to become that which we can glimpse in our most perfect moments under conditions of great courage. We enjoy and even thrill to possibilities we see in ourselves in such peak moments. And yet we simultaneously shiver with weakness, awe, and fear before these very same possibilities. Weakness preys on us too, indeed. When it seems too hard, the road too long, the thorns too thick, we also hear the voices saying, "Don't rock the boat. We're not ready yet. Haven't I already done enough? Who do you think you are?" There's a difference, though, between the good counsel that gives pause so that we may continue on our road stronger and more well-rested, and the voices that merely serve to sap our resolve, tempt us to lose our nerve, to give up, to stay safe and complacent. Which voice do we listen to? Perhaps just as we all worship something with our choices we make every day, perhaps our vocation as individuals and as a community could be defined simply by the voices we cannot deny, the voices we choose to heed. I want to instill in my children, and what's more, I want to instill in myself, the sense of vocation as endeavoring to get to the other side of impossible, where impossible simply falls away. All the challenges, all the obstacles, they are not blocking the path. They are the path. On this topic, Maslow wrote, "What a person can be, one must be. This weed we call self-actualization. It refers to a person's desire for self-fulfillment, namely to the tendency for one to become actually what one is potentially, to become everything one is capable of becoming." What are we capable of becoming? What are we actually? What are we potentially? Perhaps hauling a kid up a mountain in a jogging stroller wasn't the smartest, most sensible idea I've ever had. It wasn't the first time, and it won't be the last, I'm sure. But I can tell you, I don't regret a single step of that journey, nor the aching joints and muscles that visited me in the days that followed. Ozza got to be there, in a place that was full of all the things he loves, and he got it. He understood, and I got to be with him in that place. Thank you, water.
This month for our offering, we'll be sharing the plate with ULACON, Union of Latinos in Eastern North Carolina. ULACON provides mental health support, education, interpretation, advocacy, English class, legal assistance, and much more. Please give generously for this community that is experiencing such oppression from our current administration, and may our generosity bring them joy and solidarity. And the greeters. Okay. Yes. And then remember, if you are at the end of a row, please pass the plate to the row behind you. and please join in blessing this offering with hymn number 402, From You I Receive. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. And now please rise and body your spirit to join in singing hymn number 108. 108. That's 108. My life flows on in endless song.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, the far-off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music singing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars? I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
Let us please join me in reading our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now in Español. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los hasta que estemos juntos otra vez. Sorry, I butchered that. And Wes, benediction.
It is UCF tradition for our benediction to join hands and form anything close to a circle. However, if you prefer not to, or if moving is not what you need right now, please remain in the center of the circle and we will surround you in our presence and love. Almost. Okay, try to link up a little bit more over here. Everyone situated? Looks like it. Okay. May you be ambushed by grace, and always more astonished than not. May every squall return you to the fleeting moment and whisper, watch. Blessed be.
I don't think we got enough